Hi guys, Dranking here. Okay, so I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online solidly for about a day now since the beta come up last night, or yesterday 5 p.m. So I've used multiple races, started and every single class there is now, and tried out all the starting zones. Basically, finished all the starting islands to truly test it. I'm currently using this one's what you're viewing now is Paladin as a Breton. All right, so it's Paladin's, well, Templar, sorry, shall I say, which is more to do with healing and, well, basically being a tank heal sort of thing. So you should be covered in heavy armor and trying to heal yourself and allies is kind of what the Templar is meant to be doing, as it does in most games. But for my day on it so far, I've been very impressed. It's a lot better visually than a lot of people were saying originally. Over time, as each beta has been released, obviously the visuals and everything's been getting better and better. I'll go to the bad points later on. I'll just cover the good points so far as you're watching the gameplay. I do some first person in this little clip of the video on purpose so you can see what it looks like doing the moves and that, and it's absolutely spotless. You know, it's flawless with that. Exactly how it is with Skyrim. You know, you just go to it straight away, nice and straightforward, and everything's flush. You know, there's no dramas with aiming at all. It's all fantastically, you know, spot on kind of thing. So I am very happy that they've got that down. Obviously, first person wasn't in the game originally. Huge audience demand for it. And they actually put it down. So ZeniMax did a great job of listening to the audience, and they have been praised numerous occasions for implementing that into the game. So, you know, every Elder Scrolls fan is, you know, buzzing about that. Right, so from the start, you know, the tutorial bit, the right at the beginning, you get sick of redoing that. Obviously, it's hard to not want to keep trying out different people and that, so it is annoying doing the starter tutorial bit, but the first time you do it, it's pretty damn cool. It looks amazing, and it's a cool start to the game, especially if you're just going straight into it and carrying on from there. Yeah, it's a really nice, strong start to the game. All these starter islands, very, very different. Obviously, depending if you're starting in the Skyrim kind of area, the Hammerfell kind of area, and the elsewhere kind of area. So they're all really different and extremely well filled. You know, it feels like it's an ancient area. You know, there's a lot of old ruins, a lot of old, you know, caves and dungeons, and also a lot of new areas. Okay, so this bit that you're watching now is when I'm using a Nord, being a Dragon Knight. So pretty damn cool. For me, it's not my kind. It's too slow, and you know, you take on too much face damage kind of thing, because you're always there toe to toe. Obviously with the Nord, you are in the Skyrim plains for your starting island. Then you do go into Morrowind once you finish your island. So it's very, very hard to choose what races you want, what styles of armor, because you can have all types of armor. You can have light, medium, heavy, and be a mage, be an archer, be one dual wielder or two-handed wielder kind of thing. So it's very much, you know, very much unique kind of thing to what you want to play as, and it's very easy to make mistakes because you may think something's a good idea to start with, and later on you kind of realizing, shit, you've invested too many points in this, you wish you got that. It's just one of the things. It's a trial and error, but luckily with an MMO, you know, and this kind of game, whatever you're using levels up and keeps leveling. So even if you do mess up for the first few hours of the game, you can either restart or just change to what you actually want to use and level that up, which I would probably advise, because it's better to have things leveled than having to start fresh again from scratch sort of thing. So it's always better to keep things going and have some kind of momentum. Even if you've already invested level points into it, you're always going to find, you know, skill points throughout the game. Plus, when you level, it's not too bad anyway. You only have a choice of magicka, health and stamina to invest the points into. So it's not really hard to mess things up, because no matter what class you use, what race you use, you need a decent amount in all three. Obviously, more in the types you're specialising in. If you're obviously mage for Magicka, but all in all, you do need a lot of all three. So it's a hard early game to really mess that up. It's only in the long runs when you've been really investing, then it kind of goes to cringe point if you've messed it up a lot. The game so far, I've only encountered like 2, glitches so far. Obviously it's still beta. They've got a month left to do all these fixes, right? So this little clip now is I'm using a wood elf archer. So this is more or less the end bit of the island. Where you do the final quest bit, which is pretty damn cool. I know, I just seen on the video then, I run past the sky shard. I see the huge beam of light blatantly on the screen multiple times, and I just run past it. And my guy's just running around like a mindless idiot. But it's the archery, of course, it's not too bothered about aiming. As long as you aim at the guy, it's going to hit him. It's going to hit his hitbox. So it doesn't really matter if you're trying to headshot something. It's not like Skyrim. It can't be that accurate and precise, because for all the latency and everyone to be perfectly done, it has to make some compromises for extra things like that. But what they have sacrificed in detail and specific things, they've heavily made up for in content, everything. I mean, the world feels so full. I've said that already, but it feels really good. You are running about it. There's always things to see. There's always something cool over a hill that you want to have a look at, just because you never know what's there. There could be a sky shard. There could be a chest in there. There could be anything, or it could be a secret dungeon hidden away that you want to explore. So it's just like when you're wandering about in any of the Elder Scrolls games. There's a crazy amount of stuff that's hidden away from you. There's only a certain amount you can find in quests, and of course you can always find more quests from random books, random letters. You talk to someone completely out of the blue and they'll give you a quest which will lead on to a bigger quest. So it has all the elements from the Elder Scrolls games. People are too hyped on to it being exactly as Skyrim. Why isn't it exactly like Skyrim? Blah 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 blah. It is so damn close to an Elder Scrolls game. It's unbelievable. You compare this to any other MMO on the market, and I think visuals, it blows it out of the water. I think this looks so much better. It feels really well balanced. You everything feels smooth. I mean, the game's not even been launched yet for any major patches. Yet the game is so, interesting to do. The armors look fantastic. When you're putting your guys, when you're creating your character models, having a view of what the veteran armor looks like, it looks so cool. All the races have their own specific ways the armor's going to look. They all have their individual ones. I mean, the Imperial, no one can see yet. No one can see what kind of skills he actually will specialize in. That's all hidden till release day, which is very interesting. I mean, luckily I've got the early release, so I can play it 5 days earlier than everyone else, unless they pre-ordered it. So luckily I'll be able to get straight on, get past all these starter areas and just crack on properly, because I know exactly what I want to play as and be. And this whole experience so far is very much confirmed. I do want to be an archer, and I do want to be Imperial, definitely. If not, it'd have to be a wood elf, just because I just want to be one-handed sword, shield and a bow with medium armor, because that for me will be very OP within speed and strength, just because he'll be able to keep the distance, he'll have a decent amount of armor, and he'll be able to lay down heavy DPS due to his advanced skill in archery. So that's the other thing. If the Imperial specializes in something shit that I do not want, it'll end up being the wood elf, just for the fact that I just said. But so far it is, I've very much struggled to find an MMO that I could play happily. Obviously I did Darkfall for 3 years. That was so perfect. But then I tried Guild Wars. that was crap. After you maxed out, there's no real fun end game. Terror, I maxed 2 characters out in that. There's no real fun end game. It was all crap. This so far, this will be exactly as I've been wanting it to be. Just a lot to do. Your own character looks amazing. It feels amazing. The world feels full. Oh yeah, this is now Morrowind area. Right, so Nord's finished his starter island at one of the I can't remember the Bleak Falls, or I can't remember the name of the island now. But now he's in the Morrowind part, and it feels like Morrowind. You got all your weird fungal infection shit kicking about. You got your big bull flying tentacle thing, Nesk or Narks, whatever they're called. I can't remember for shit. But yeah, it's exactly like you want it to be. And if you try and think of Oblivion graphics compared to this blows Oblivion out of the water. Obviously it's not going to match Skyrim, but hell, it's so damn good. It's more than playable, and everything's very smooth, and there's a lot to do. There's so much I haven't seen yet or tried. I mean, I've not tried any of the blacksmithing or crafting of any kind yet. I tried the lock picking. I broke 2 of my pick locks straight away. I didn't understand it to start with. It's a tumbler system, so I messed up straight away without even reading how to do it properly. I just quickly hit the wrong things and broke them straight away. Then I couldn't even give it another go. So I was a bit annoyed at that, and it was a simple lock as well that I completely fucked up. So there's a lot of extra things to make this more realistic. Like I've seen when you're looking at your map, if someone else sees you looking at your map, you're physically holding a map, which is generally cool. A lot of people know why stuff like that's come about, because they put the little trials and experiments on for people to give ideas to make things look cool, and obviously people do it, and ZeniMax watch, listen, and implement it into the game, which is cool. It's nice for them to interact with their audience, because at the end of the day we're the consumers, so more they do with us, it's just better in general. It gives a better feel for the company, knowing their audience is on their side, and we're helping them out, and they actually respond and reward for the people they enjoy the best ideas from. Okay, this last little clip is now what is he? He's a dark elf, destruction mage basically. So I've got hardly any spells at the moment. I've got no decent spells whatsoever. This is a very this will be one of the most fun classes to be as, always as a destruction mage, because that's when you had the nicest visuals for your gameplay. You cast in the later game, you'll be able to cast your cool ass spells, which will look good, deal heavy damage. There are plenty of AoEs knocking about, very high damage spells for solo targets as well. So a lot of crowd control elements, and also very good to kite heavy mobs with. So just generally very interesting class to be as. So it's always really hard. It's same with, I think everyone in every single Elder Scrolls game has had to try many different classes and try many different things so they can find the one they're happy with, because it's so hard to choose and be fully happy with what you've got, because you never know what you're going to enjoy more. But that's the beauty of this. You can just crack straight on with things. You level up what you've got, but of course, depending on if you want to be Dragon Knight and other things like that, it makes it really hard to choose to start with. So that's why the betas are good, so you can get this testing out of the way, so you don't need to waste this time in your actual main game. You can get all this bullshit out of the way early, which I'm happy I've done, because I've been able to really heavily invest some good time into all the different classes and races and starting areas, so I can see what's best. Because with the Imperial, you can choose whatever area you want to start with, and I prefer starting like the Skyrim kind of area, just because it looks the best. Plus you feel right at home, I think. But once you hit level 50, you can then venture to all the other zones and finish all the quests in the other zones, and then the PvP area in Cyrodiil, so you can just crack straight on with that. So that's what I'll do. I'll just get my Imperial, dominate all this area, move around all the other areas. This is what I always do in all games. I take out all the quests, and then I'll crack on with the PvP. I'm always weird like that. I like to achievement hunt, get as much as I can, get maxed out, get geared out to fuck, and then go onto the PvP zone where my dude's like an Uber boss. I don't know. I just like grinding like that, but it should be a very fun experience. So my overall review of this game is bang on what I was hoping for. It's so actually a lot of it very much exceeds what I was expecting. So I think it's a hell of a game. This is well worth buying, well worth playing, and definitely worth your time to invest into it. Just because, one, Elder Scrolls, huge lore, so much more to come out. You know, they've got the whole area of Tamriel to completely fill out, and there's just, you know, you even got all the Dark Brotherhood. There's so much interest.